Well, hello there, my friends. Chances are you found this video in one of two ways. Number one, you're just a regular subscriber. If that's the case, thank you so much. I can't tell you how much you mean to me. Or number two, you're doing some research. You're looking into Pi cryptocurrency, B network, Timestop, or possibly another crypto that's come out since the production of this video, and your friends are talking about it. And if you can be kind of honest, it feels a little like a scam, just a little bit. And you're trying to figure out, is it a scam? Can I get rich off this thing? Will I get rich off this? How does it work? And why is everybody talking about these things? Well, my friends, if you are curious about these things, you've come to the right place. In this video, we are going to do a newbie's guide to getting started and what these mobile mining cryptocurrencies are all about and what they mean for you. So stay tuned. We're going to cover all of this and so much more. Well, my friends, 2021 has kicked off. I am back from the lake house and settled back into my wonderful home in my studio, and I'm pretty excited about what this year holds for us. Stay tuned. I've got some big things happening personally in my life that I can't wait to talk to you about. Best way to do that, make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click the bell icon. Best way to know when I produce some new content, when I share some exciting things happening. So since this is an introductory newbie's guide to mobile mining cryptocurrencies, there's a good chance you and I are meeting for the first time. So if that's the case, hello there. My name is Wes Spencer. I am a serial entrepreneur. I am a technologist, and I am a cybersecurity guy. And I've been covering cryptocurrency for a really long time and been in it even longer. And so in this channel, I cover all things cryptocurrency that interest me. So here's how we're going to get kicked off. I've been thinking a lot about how we classify these cryptocurrencies: Pi network, Timestop, B network, and possibly others. And there's one common denominator. You know what that is? It is this: the mobile phone. And so that's why, and you've heard me actually use this term just a second ago, mobile mining cryptocurrencies. I am coining that term. You can use it if you want to, share alike. But I think that's a great way to describe these kinds of cryptocurrencies. And so if you're wondering how these things work, we're going to cover this today. We're going to jump into a newbie guide. I'd love to know your comments. Let me know if what I share today makes sense, if you have questions about it, and would certainly love to give you some more feedback as we go on. So first of all, let's talk about the genesis of why these were created. So I've been in cryptocurrency for a really long time, since the early 2010s, we'll say. I've actually personally mined Bitcoin on a device and have successfully mined Bitcoin. I've mined Litecoin. In fact, in the old days, I created an old Litecoin miner. It was USB based. You could walk to any machine, you could pop that little guy in, and it would automatically start mining and join a pool that I created. So I've been doing this for a really long time. Like I said, I'm a technologist and I love this stuff. And one thing I've noticed about cryptocurrency is when you look at the opinions of many people that never had the opportunity to get into mining cryptocurrency, especially things like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin in the early days, there is definitely that resentment of, I missed out. I never got a chance to get into it. And when you read a lot of the white papers that exist inside these mobile mining cryptocurrencies, or these MMCs, I'm going to call them, one thing that you will notice, all of them seem to have this idea behind them that mining was unfair. It happened a long time ago, and we can't get back in that profitably today. And you know what? They are not wrong about that. Take a look at this. I'm going to show you picture after picture of Bitcoin mining farms. And we've gone from the old days that, personally speaking, I think Satoshi always wanted Bitcoin mining to be in the hands of the everyday user. There was one thing he didn't anticipate. Guess what that was? The rise of big Bitcoin mining farms and difficulty levels that are now so high that it is absolutely impossible for you to profitably mine Bitcoin in any sort of form and fashion unless you happen to have an empire of millions of dollars of infrastructure invested. And what does that mean for you and me? We've missed the boat. That boat has sailed away. And because that boat has sailed away, they're kind of unhappy about that. And they feel like we never got a chance to get into this. This is especially popular in countries like India, Nigeria, the Philippines. I have a lot of followers in my channel that come from awesome countries like that are very crypto friendly, that are very savvy, and have always wanted to get involved in that. It begs you to think this question: why does it have to have expensive GPUs and then expensive ASICs just to mine? And yes, we know that Ethereum and others are moving towards proof of stake, But even in that, how to developing in new countries, or even for folks in the West that simply don't have the budget to get into this and actually have a stake in a cryptocurrency like ETH once it moves to proof of stake, they feel like I just don't have a chance to get in. And this is where I think Pi specifically as a pioneer, and then Timestope and B and probably others have really put their finger on the pulse of a problem and a solution, which is this. Why do you have to have some kind of mechanism that requires you to put hash power and proof of work into a cryptocurrency? Or why do you have to have a bunch of cryptocurrency in the first place to have a stake in a cryptocurrency? Why can we not all just mine and mine equally? And that's a good question. Well, how would that be done? Well, think about it this way. There's one thing that most of us all have today, both in developing countries and in first world countries, and it is this, the mobile phone. So why can we not use a mobile phone as the basis of mining? And that, my friends, is the true crux of MMCs. They all say we all have a phone. Let's use that as the central point, the crux of the actual mining operation. And so when we talk about mining on Pi Network, for example, it's not actually using hash power. It's not using your battery. It's not using the speed of your machine. It doesn't matter if you have a new iPhone 12 Pro Max, whatever it's called, or you have a third gen Android. As long as it can run the application, you are going to be able to mine. In this video, I'm not covering the specifics about how Pi Network actually mines or B or any of the others, but what I am going to do is just say this. It's based off your phone and it's based off your identity. If you're technical and you're watching this video and you want to know more, just go look at how Stellar works. Stellar is a great consensus-based algorithm that a lot of these MMCs are copying or using in their own way. And I don't want to drag this video into technical specificities, but just to say we all have a phone. And so because of that, that is the key point that we can use to begin mining. So this, I hope, kind of makes sense of where the genesis of all this came from. To recap it quickly, people felt like they messed out. People felt like they didn't get a fair chance to get into cryptocurrencies. They love the idea of them. They see them as the future of financial transactions. They see them as the way of holding assets in the future. And Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, all that started in the US. It started with mining that we just can't do anymore profitably, and they missed out and they want to get into it. That is why these MMCs have taken off like wildfire. They allow anybody to get in, literally installing the app, and off you go, you're running so quickly. Now, the second thing I want to cover is how did they get so popular so quick? And this is where the scammy pieces come out. If you're watching this video, one of those things you really want to do and discover is it feels a little scammy. The way that people talk about it, you'll even see this in my video. You can check out any of my videos. You'll see lots of people putting in the referral code. The way most of these work is they have a referral code to get going. The only way you get started in this is not only do you have to have a referral code from somebody else, and by the way, you can use mine. It's in the description down below if you want to. You don't have to. You want to make somebody's day, just use anybody's referral code in my comments down below and let them know that you did it. But the idea is you have to have the referral code, you download the app, and off you go. The reason that has worked so well is because in all of these MMCs, the speed at which you mine is based upon how many people you refer into the system. Now you see why it feels so scammy, doesn't it? People will say, well, use my code and you'll get double the mining rate, which is not true. Or they'll say, I'll give you a whole bunch of cryptocurrency that others won't do if you join mine. Again, not true. People will say a lot of things to get you to join via their referral code. And that is the way that they make more cryptocurrency. There's another example of this. In the US, if you've ever heard of MLMs or multi-level marketing, in my very early videos in Pi, if you go back and watch them, I was pretty concerned about this. And I can't tell you how much I hate the business model of MLMs. I think they're predatory. And I will say that MMCs do feel just a little bit like an MLM. And so that is why they feel scammy. And so you can actually get started with this, just use someone's referral code and you don't have to refer anybody. You can be like some folks I know that's literally what they've done. They've started it, they've got it up and running. They don't want to talk to anybody about it, and that's okay. And then you have others that are like spewing their code everywhere. They literally have business cards and they'll drop them on tables and like use graffiti in the bathroom wall or something like that. Not such a great idea, but people do all kinds of ways to market this. And so that's why it can feel a little bit scammy. If you've seen scammy messages, if you see scammy stuff online, that's where it's coming from. People are trying their best to get you to use their referral code. And so some people will use just normal means like, hey, if you want to check it out, check it out. If you see other people that say, hey, check this out, it's going to make you rich, they don't know, it's speculative. They're just trying to get you excited and get you to join. And so that is why it feels so scammy. I don't think most of them are that scammy. You may see some that come out that could be that way, but that is why you will see so often people ask, are these MMCs a scam? It feels a little scammy. That's where it comes from. The third thing I want to cover is this going to make you rich? Well, the truth is, who knows? I would say the cards are stacked against you of becoming rich off it, so to speak. Now, there's a lot of hope that's out there for people that say this is going to be the next Bitcoin, whether it's any of these MMCs, whether it's Pi or Timestope or B or any of the others. And they think, well, maybe Pi one day itself will be worth, hundreds of thousands of dollars per Pi. And they're very, very speculative. Look, I hope, and I think we can all agree, we all hope they become that successful and worth that much money. But I do want to say, I don't think that's going to happen. And I don't think that's going to happen right away. If you're getting into this and you're putting all your eggs in this basket and your entire financial hope is in one of these MMCs to become filthy rich, probably wouldn't recommend that, right? I mean, Pi alone has billions of Pi that's been mined. And it's going to have to be, some of it's going to have to be burned. Some of it's going to have to be used. There's going to have to be a great marketplace. I actually produced a video on this. If you want to see more, I'll put it in the description down below. But it's 3 critical things that Pi needs to do in order to succeed. And so I'm just going to table that discussion and say, go watch that video if you want to see what it would take. But I don't think you're going to get filthy rich off any of these MMCs. But I think if you do get involved and you hold them and we continue to see global adoption, Pi, for example, is at 10 million users. I mean, that's pretty awesome. What if it gets to 100 million users? That number of users does command respect, and it does command a viable marketplace that a lot of things could happen inside of all of that. So I'm just saying this. I am saying that I think they could be worth some money for sure. If you follow my videos, I do not do price speculation. I'm just not ready to do that. I don't feel like that's a good practice in most YouTube channels. I don't like crypto channels that are always saying this crypto to the moon, this crypto is going to crash. And if you scroll, you see them say the same thing about the same crypto in a week or two. Have you noticed that? I don't like that stuff. And so I am just going to say, I don't think you're going to get filthy rich off this, but I do think this is fun. I think it's a great way to get involved in a new cryptocurrency, buy, hold. And guys, there's really no risk to this, right? I mean, all you got to do is check in usually once every 24 hours and you're up and running with these things. So very simple to get going, very simple to get mining going, and you really have very little to lose. Why not give it a shot? And we'll see what happens in the long term. Even if some of these cryptocurrencies hit markets and they're for fractions of a penny, give it some time. They may come up as we see more value produced. So I hope that kind of helps you. Now, the fourth thing I want to talk about is the mechanism by which these work. So we talked about this just a second ago, just a bit. It's simply this. You do have to check into these apps at least every 24 hours is usually the way these work. And so with Pi Network, for example, what you'll do is you'll go right into Pi once every 24 hours and you have to start mining again. That's sort of its way of proving your identity, proving that it's you that's involved and you that's signaling to the network, I am involved as an active user. And that's what generates your Pi. Now, your mining rate in a lot of these MMCs is, like I said, based upon how many people you invite. So just know, you may invite somebody and your mining rate is whatever it is, XYZ, but that person invites hundreds and hundreds of other people. They're going to mine way, way, way more than you because they're simply doing the work of inviting more people in. Now, there are some differences in how the functions work for some of these. For example, Timestope, if you quit mining for a significant amount of time, there is a punishment, so to speak, that can come inside of all of that. But the base of most of these MMCs require a 24-hour check-in just to say, I'm mining, I'm here, and that's all you got to do. Now, if you miss a day or 2 or 10 or whatever, most of these MMCs, that is okay. They would understand if you went off a grid on some vacation or something like that, you just didn't have cellular service, that's understandable. Okay, the fifth and final thing to cover, and then at this point, I think you're ready to go, is the risks. What are the risks inside of all of this? Well, I don't think there actually are a lot of risks as long as you're comfortable with the app itself and you're comfortable with the data that's being given out and you're comfortable with how it works itself. There's really very little to worry about. It's not like you're buying some of this cryptocurrency from an exchange and hoping it's going to work out. It doesn't work like that. You're actually organically mining it yourself. So not a ton of risks inside of all that. I would just say really the risks may come down to your own country and how they handle cryptocurrency itself. You should be aware of those things. I'm not a lawyer and I'm not an international lawyer, so I'm not going to even try to cover your own countries and their jurisdictions around cryptocurrency. But there's very little risk inside of all of these. And so you can pick one, you can pick all three of the known top ones right now, which I've mentioned over and over and over, B, Timestop, and Pi, or you can pick any variant that you happen to like. There's not a ton of risk. You can get involved in these and you can just see what happens. You can explore and play. And honestly, even if you don't get rich, and even if you're not planning to get rich, but you just want to have some fun with cryptocurrency for the first time in your life, these are great ones to go for just because of the fun of all of this. And so honestly, that's kind of why I'm doing this. I truly don't care if Pi takes off and succeeds or it doesn't. I've got a lot of investments in a lot of other things, and so I don't need Pi to be ragingly successful. And that's why I've been pretty neutral and pretty fair and unbiased in when I talk about these MMCs of what I think about them, because it is not important for me for them to take off. I'm just enjoying the ride. I think it's a lot of fun to see them, to see where they go and see what happens out of all of them. And if they take off and they're worth a lot of money for me one day, awesome. Good for me, good for you. If they don't, no big deal. So there's not a lot of risk that I can see inside of all of this. It really just comes down to if you think this would be fun and if you want to actually log in once a day and keep these things up. That's really what it comes down to. So I hope this has been helpful. This is sort of my newbie guide into the MMCs so you can get kind of educated and understand what these things are all about. You heard me talk about each of the things that I think are pretty important. So let me know what you think. All you've got to do is drop a question in the comments down below. While you're at it, hit the subscribe and thumbs up. That goes a long way for me and my channel. I'd love to know what questions you have. And by the way, share this with others. You may be watching this because a friend shared this with you. That is super awesome. Please do that. If they're curious and they want to know how all this works and what it's all about, this would be a great video for you to just share with your friends or family, and I'd love to know what they think as well. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, and I will check you in the next video. Thanks so much.